Alright everybody, this week we've got a killer director, we've got a killer cast, we've got a killer story, but more importantly, we've got a killer whale. Let's roll. Okay, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I really love this movie, so we're going to be checking out 1977's Orca. First, off to the trailer.
Called him Orca or Orcinus, Latin for bringer of death. He is without challenge the most powerful animal on the globe, the killer whale. Orca has 48 teeth, set in 2 impressive rows. In some respects, the orca's intelligence may be even superior to man's. They remain loyal to one mate for life. As parents, they are exemplary, better than many human beings. And like human beings, they have a profound instinct for vengeance. An innocent creature is destroyed by an act of human cruelty, and the ultimate battle of man against nature begins. Dino de Laurentiis presents Orca.
Can you commit a sin against an animal?
He followed you. He saw you on the deck of the boat.
They always remember the human being who had tried to harm them.
He deliberately left you your boat because he wants to fight you on the sea.
I won't do that.
Now the fish have vanished from the fishing grounds. It's all because of your whale.
In fact, I won't fight him at all.
You're not even man enough to accept the excitement of this challenge.
I'll fight you! You're a vengeful son of a...
Orca, starring Richard Harris, Charlotte Rampling, Will Sampson, Keenan Wynn. A spectacular adventure. From the depths of the sea to the top of the world.
It's going to be a fair fight on equal terms.
A fight to the death.
Nolan!
Between the 2 most dangerous animals on Earth.
What in hell are you?
Man and Orca.
Okay, this movie was directed by Londoner Michael Anderson, who actually just passed away this year at the ripe old age of 98. He had directed movies for over 50 years. We're talking stuff like Around the World in a Day. We're talking Logan's Run. We're talking the Martian Chronicles TV series, mini-movie, call it whatever the hell you want, which was like beyond awesome. We're talking The Wreck of the Mary Dare. We're talking... He had a career that spanned decades and decades and decades, and he was always a phenomenal director. So, you get to 98 years old, you had a career like that, that is a life well lived, sir. Good job. Okay, we got the immortal Richard Harris playing Captain Nolan. Richard Harris is one of those guys, he really has had a Hollywood royalty type career, even though he's not from Hollywood. He was really a hell-raising kind of guy from Ireland who liked to party and drink and have a good time a bit. But that's beside the point. Richard Harris has been in a slew of legendary work. You're talking he was in Gladiator, he was in Unforgiven, he was in a couple of those Harry Potter movies for all you younger people out there. He was in Orca, he was in A Man Called Horace, he was in Trials of a Man Called Horace. He did some work with Camelot. He was all over, and he did so much amazing work, a top-level actor, and he gave an incredible performance in this movie. He gave a performance that took a movie that could have easily been made a little bit B-side-ish and brought it right up to A-level stuff. So, Richard Harris. Woo! Holy shit. Okay, then we got England's own Charlotte Rampling playing Rachel. Charlotte Rampling's had a long, long career. She's been in stuff like... Way back in the day, she was in movies that were a little bit more avant-garde, like, you know, The Night Porter. Obviously, she's in Orca. She was in The Verdict with Paul Newman. Recently, she's been in, like, Babylon AD with Vin Diesel. Charlotte Rampling has been around for a long time. She's still acting today. I know she's not a spring chicken anymore, but she's still cranking out the movies. She was one of those girls, too, way back in the day. She was kind of like that plain Jane, but like hot chick that they would put in movies, kind of like Nastasia Kinski in Cat People or something. She kind of had that vibe to her. Not a lot of stuff thrown on her, but just kind of came to the screen as somebody you wanted to watch. So Charlotte Rampling, and she does a great job in this movie. Okay, next up we have Bo Derek playing Annie. This was Bo Derek's very first motion picture. Long before she became like I'm Naked and Everything Bo Derek, before she did Bolero and Tarzan and something like Ghosts Can't Do It or Can Do It, whatever the hell that thing was. This was her first motion picture. And she was like this young, blonde-haired, blue-eyed thing that just appeared out of nowhere. Actually, what she was the second or third or fourth, I don't know what the hell wife she fell into line. But she was married to John Evans, who was like way older than her. And if you look at Bo Derek and you look at young pictures of Linda Evans, he basically replaced his wife with a younger version of his wife. It's kind of weird, kind of odd, but it is what it was. But anyway, before Bo Derek went on to have the career that she went to have, and she was in movies like, you know, Tommy Boy and all that, she was literally like the it girl for a period of time. She was always nude, but she always, strangely in interviews, didn't come across as like a B-level actress who just spent her whole life to be nude. She was actually kind of thoughtful and rather demure and stuff like that. So Bo Derek, she's still out there going today, still looks good. I think she's in her 60s now, easily. But anyway, Bo Derek as Annie, she did a good job. Okay, one of my favorites in this movie is Will Sampson. Will Sampson, if you don't remember, Will Sampson was like a 6'5" Native American gentleman. And he was in movies like Poltergeist 2. He was in The Outlaw Josie Wales. He's probably most known for being in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. And he was like a gentle giant of a man who died way too young. I think he was only like 51 years old when he passed away. He had a lot of health issues, always did. And it was kind of a shame to see him go, because he was really just this kind of guy that when you seen him on screen, like you automatically started looking at him. He was just like a big man, but he always had a gentle presence, and he brings that through in this movie in a flawless way. I don't even know if he was acting or just being Will Sampson, but whatever he was being, that's what came on the screen. And it made him one of the things you watched in this movie. Also popping up in this flick is Robert Carradine. You know, younger brother, baby brother of Keith Carradine, David Carradine, the whole Carradine clan, you know what I mean? And he plays Ken, and I don't want to say too much about his character, because his character didn't really do that much, but he was in the movie. It was one of his earlier flicks, way before, like, you know, Revenge of the Nerds and all that kind of stuff. But he came in, he did his part well. You know, maybe he was just cannon fodder for the whale. But whatever. He was still a good addition to the cast, and it was nice to see him doing something like this when he was so young. Okay, next we got Peter Hooten, who played Paul. Good actor. He was in the Inglourious Bastards, not the Tarantino flick, which was a phenomenal flick, but the original Inglourious Bastards back in the 70s. And then he did some, like, you know, B-movie stuff here and there, whatever. His career never took off to the point where he became a leading man, but he would pop up from time to time, and, well, hey, that's just somehow, sometimes, the way it goes. Okay, next is legendary actor Keenan Wynn. Keenan Wynn, if I sat here and listed all the movies Keenan Wynn has been in, I'd probably be here all day, because the man was in like 4,000 motion pictures. For all the people that would like this page, you're going to recognize him obviously from this. You're going to recognize him from Piranha. You're going to recognize him from a movie called The Dark that was like this low-budget cheesy horror flick from way back in the day. He was in a lot of movies. He was in an incredible amount of television shows too. He just popped up everywhere from that era, and he was a great actor, like that kind of guy that you just kind of felt like, oh man, my friend's grandpa Jim just showed up and he's going to hang with us, and he's pretty cool because he just doesn't give a shit and he's going to say it like he says it. That's Keenan Wynn, and gotta tell you, he was nothing but an addition to give this movie some of that grounded realism. When you seen Keenan Wynn in this movie, you're like, hell yeah, I can see him on a boat. Not a doubt in my mind. He's that guy. In this movie, he was that guy. Okay, this movie has one of the coolest opening montages that you'll see as an opening clip, where you just see some sonar contacts of two blips with whale sounds in the background, and they're moving closer and closer and closer. And it was a brilliant way to describe two whales coming together as one, to form a unit, to form a family. In the movie, you learn that killer whales, or are told that killer whales, are monogamous their whole life, and they find one mate and they stay with one mate their whole life. And that opening sequence, and you just see those two sonar blips, which you know are the whales, and they unite and they become one, is like a beautiful, beautiful way to start a motion picture. I mean, it said so much with so little. It was just friggin' genius. After that, we move on to a scene where Captain Nolan and his crew are hunting down a great white shark. They're on a boat that looks incredibly like the Orca from Jaws, and they're chasing down a great white shark where they run into Charlotte Rampling, Rachel, and Ken, and they're under the water and they're doing some oceanographic research, whatever. And the great white shark comes a-cruising on in. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Are these people going to get munched out by a great white? Are they all about to die? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a killer whale comes in, saves the day. Beautiful way to start the movie. Builds you with, beyond just the opening scene of the whales and the love story, it builds you into like, hey, these things, they're not just killer evil machines. They have consciousness and thoughts, and you wanted to like be friends with the whale more than anything at that point in the movie. Anyway, motion picture moves on. Captain Nolan gets the good idea that, hey, I'm going to go out and catch me a killer whale. I can sell one of these things to the aquarium. I'm going to make thousands and thousands of dollars. I can pay off some debt, pay care of some bills, whatever. So he goes out to capture a killer whale. Not to hurt one. He's not malicious, but he goes out to capture a killer whale, thinking he's going to give it a wonderful little home in your local aquarium someplace. Charlotte Rampling, a.k.a. Rachel, she tries to tell him, listen, I don't think this is a good idea. You're probably going to break up a family and you're going to butcher a whale or two in the process. He's like, can't happen. I'll take care of that. And he goes out and tries. As the movie moves on, he's out there at sea. They go to try to shoot a killer whale. He misses. He hits the male, nicks its fin, which will always pop up in the motion picture after that, and he hits the female. She starts screaming bloody murder. They're trying to pull her in on deck. At that moment in time, Nolan gets the realization of what he has done. This isn't just a fish now. This isn't just some flounder out in the ocean. This is a mammal, a breathing, thinking, nursing mammal. He brings it on deck and he hears her screaming and he can't get over what he's hearing. He can't get over how lifelike, how human it is. Just as they get the whale on the boat, the baby pops out, hits the deck. Everybody's horrified. You're horrified. We're horrified. They're horrified. But nobody is more horrified than that killer whale father sitting in the water. And he lets out this guttural scream that will stick with you for the rest of the movie. He is pissed. He will not be happy. The movie progresses. They're trying to bring the killer whale, the female, in. But the whole problem is the male starts getting pissed. He's ramming the boat. He's doing damage. They decide to drop her back into the water just to get rid of her. They're like, she's probably going to die anyway. What the hell did we do? We're going to drop this thing back into the water. They go back to shore, dock the boat for the night. Male killer whale pushes his mate all the way up to shore and leaves her there. Now, we actually know in today's society, it's actually been filmed, they actually do things like that. It's not very common, but it's their way of saying, hey, I'm going to keep pushing you, hoping you can get air and come to life. Mothers have been seen doing this with their calves over and over again in the wild. So it's actually something that when you've seen it in the movie, you're kind of like, huh? But in reality, you're like, holy shit, that really could happen. As the story moves on, we see that Nolan is riddled with guilt. He has, by this point, lost a crewman. He has, by this point, understood the gravity of what he has done. He does not, though, want to go out and kill the whale. Everybody in the town wants him to kill the whale. They have made that specifically clear. He docks his boat in this town where he's rented a house. All the people in that town want him gone because the killer whale is following him and all the fish are dried up. And fishermen, no fish, are unemployed. They all want him to go. They all want him out of town. But he refuses to go out and kill this animal. Pardon me, I shouldn't say animal. He refuses to go out and kill this mammal. He refuses to do it. And then we find out why. I'm not going to tell you exact reasons why, but he lost a wife and a child, just like that killer whale did. Somebody victimized him in a way, just like that he did to the killer whale. So he understands what he has done, and he is torn apart by what he has done. So he does not want to engage this killer whale, thinking, what right do I have to kill him after what I have done to him? Finally, Mr. Orca is not a happy guy because Mr. Nolan will not meet him on the sea. So he starts destroying and causing havoc on everything he can humanly find. Or inhumanly find, I guess? I don't... Anyway, he starts wreaking havoc on everything he can find. Finally, he attacks the very house that Nolan and his crew are in. And let's just say it ends badly. I'm not saying terminally, but it ends badly for one young Bo Derek. This is what ignites him to go out to sea. This is what ignites him to go out there and say, this is it. I have to do this. I have to fight this whale because this is what he wants. He's not going to stop until I do it. And they go off. And they go off to sea to have a battle. One last note. The battle he has with this killer whale is genius because out of a sense of morose duty, out of a sense of fairness, he refuses to shoot the whale. He will only use a harpoon so that the fight is fair. And he even agrees to fight the whale on the whale's terms, at the whale's choosing of time and location. He does this in every way to accommodate the whale, which makes you almost wonder, did he ever want to win? Did he ever want to live? Or was he so racked with remorse that he would rather die and go out with some kind of valor than to actually harm the whale? Who knows? Okay, the reason this story works is that it is so well crafted for what could have easily been some kind of a cheesy goofball, okay, ripoff of Jaws for all intents and purposes. And that's what it really is. It kind of is a ripoff of Jaws. But it's a ripoff of Jaws with a twist, with a different angle, where you kind of, within reason, are rooting for and understand the whale. The whale is a sympathetic character in this movie. He's not evil. He's vengeful, he's hurt, but he's not evil. The shark in Jaws was just out to kill and destroy and take life. That's not really what this killer whale is doing. He is just seeking revenge for being wronged. The most human of emotions, the most human of reactions is what this whale is doing. So you're very sympathetic to it. Hell, the main character is sympathetic to the whale in this movie. Everybody is sympathetic to the whale in this movie. So it makes a great juxtaposition of if it's not good versus evil, it's damaged versus more damaged. It's hurt and tormented versus more hurt and tormented. The way that Richard Harris plays this character is one of the glues that makes this movie work. They could have put 50 other guys in here and this movie would have shit the bed. This movie would have fallen apart. But it's that degree of remorse, this morose guilt that you can see tearing Nolan apart as he goes through this motion picture. There's times when he acts like, okay, I'll get by this and it's not a big deal, and he's flippant. But you know in his heart he's acting. You know he doesn't mean what he's doing, and he is emotionally broken up on every level about the atrocity he's committed. You have a guy who's going out there to fight a whale in a fight he doesn't want to fight. And you see a whale out there seeking vengeance for a situation he never wanted to be in. So you have this great amount of sympathy and just, I don't know how to put it. You have this great amount of sympathy and tragic loss for everybody in this motion picture. This is not a happy motion picture. This is not a movie where you're going to walk out of it and say, woo-hoo, they blew up the Death Star. That's not what you're going to get in this. I'm telling you now, you're not going to get that. This movie is going to make you walk out just going like, wow, all right, I get it. It was cool. It was kind of sad. It was kind of touching. That's what you're going to walk out of this, but you're still going to walk out of this thinking this was a very well done, very well crafted, very well thought out movie that could have easily been some bullshit like Sharknado or something on the Sci-Fi Channel, given the wrong direction and the wrong cast and the wrong writers. This movie is very well done. The score to it is well done. Everything about this movie elevates it above what the description of the movie is. So go out, check out Orca, have a good time. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. Enjoy. Peace out.